Thanks to the support as a channel member, Kevin Wilcox. Oh, boys and girls, we came so close last season. We even won a trophy, but weren't quite able to get ourselves back into the Champions League. I hope that's not going to cost us this summer. We have a lot of players who probably should be playing in the Champions League at this stage of their career. The only priority for this window, keep this squad together and maybe try and make some of the loans permanent. We don't need big business. Cue a 45-minute episode where we rebuild the entire squad. I know how this works. Hello and welcome to part 70 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode is our season review and transfer special. Don't know how much money we've got to spend, but I do know we just had a pretty good season. Look, it has a trophy. Oh, isn't it shiny and indeed beautiful? Why is it not letting me click the buttons? There we go. So season review up first. Signing of the season, James Carr, which, I mean, this signing of the season thing is getting more and more nonsensical every season in this save. This save is a weird one. He started 3 games after we spent £2.5 million on him. Yeah, he looks like he's probably going to be good. But at 23, he's not really progressing as quickly as we would have liked. We've got a young centre-back of our own coming through at the club. Definitely not signing of the season when we had Bertrand come in, similar sort of age, and start 39 games. Kevin Simon, similar sort of age, started 37 games. And Magofu coming in on loan, starting every match that he was available for, 39 matches, all with similarly decent average ratings. It makes no sense to me, but James Carr is your signing of the season because basically because he's cheap, according to that. They don't care about performances on the pitch. They just want our signings to be cheap and have some resale value. And on that basis, I guess Carr was perfect. Of course, we did win the French Cup this season, beating Monaco and Paris Saint Germain on the way. Hopefully a sign of things to come for us. We don't want to talk about the Europa Conference League. We're not in that this year. We're in the normal Europa League. We did max out our attendances again, and it's not yet time to move into the new ground. We are getting a new ground, aren't we? I'm not confusing this with the Leamington save. I am pretty sure we have a new ground that's already been announced. We'll check that in a minute. We missed out narrowly on Champions League qualification, but I do feel like we're close. If Lille and Lorient are good enough to be getting into the Champions League, then we certainly are. Monaco seem to be in something of a decline that we'd like to capitalise on. And as I've said quite a lot in recent episodes where Paris Saint Germain have been concerned, they have a team full of FM22 wonder kids who are now well into their 30s. And at some point, they're all going to retire. We can only hope it all happens at the same time. And that's the season that we pounce. Maybe it'll coincide with us moving into this new ground. We may or may not have, that I need to check in a moment. Finances wise, if we can, I don't know why the continue button's not working properly. Finances wise, sponsorships are up massively, which is a big positive. We need that to continue increasing, especially while we are hampered somewhat by our small ground and lack of Champions League football. In that, you can see the impact of not being in Europe right there. 28 million when we were in the Champions League the year before, down to 18.5 million in broadcast revenue. That is a big drop. Everything else down to our competition prize money in half. Just by not getting into the Champions League, that's cost us, what, 24 million pounds? That's a problem. That's a player, a really good player. That's more than Big Willie. If we'd have had that Champions League money, that would have been significant. We didn't have it, and because of that, this summer is going to be a tough one, I think. This is our team of the year. Magofu in goal, Simon, Say, Bertrand and Frey the back four, Thomas, Fowry and Milinkovic in midfield, then Millet and Nguema supporting Omar up front. That is, I mean, for once, the team of the year is absolutely spot on. That is our best team. And for the first time in a long time, I'm looking at that knowing that they're all secured a spot to be here for next year, albeit several of them on loan. Magofu's on loan, Milinkovic is on loan, and Nguema is on loan. But the rest of them are all here permanently. And that's got to be a good thing. That is a solid squad to build on. We just need to start plugging little gaps in the squad and picking up exciting young players where we can. Player of the year was Thomas, who continues to be the unsung hero of the team. 30 years old now, pulls all the strings from the base of the midfield. He's going to be a tough one to replace when he starts to decline, but I'm not just going to bid him off because he's 30. I know it's possible for him to carry on for another number of seasons, and I just need to keep reminding myself of that. Omar, top young player, still only 22 years old for Omar. He's going to get better and better. We already know about Kara, signing of the season. Fowry got goal of the season, top scorer and most assists. Omar, 40 goal contributions over the course of the season, 7 man of the matches, and Thomas got the top average rating. We also got Frey getting most assists in Ligue 1. Omar, best African player in Ligue 1 and World Under-21 Footballer of the Year, African Striker of the Year, and Bertrand, as we know before, got Ligue 1 Revelation of the Year. So there's lots to be excited about in this team, not least of which is we won the Cup. This is our all-time best 11. We're just checking on a few of these boys. Mandrea has now retired. Cisse moved to Bordeaux last year for £1 million, played a full season. Not very well, though. Bless his cotton socks. Deleste is now playing for Troy. It's interesting to see how many of these former players are now playing regularly in Ligue 1. They were good players. They just weren't good enough to push for the Champions League. But Deleste left us and has played 2 full seasons in Ligue 1. Something we never really gave him the chance to do. Matt Seymour is obviously still with us at the moment, but will probably be moving on this summer to make room for our new wonder kid. And Abdallah has now retired. Thomas, as he should be at the base of the midfield in any tour team ever. Fowry and Vaquero together in midfield. Millet on the left. Omar on the right, which still seems a bit odd, and Salah Buzrara still in the all-time best 11 as the striker. Don't really know why he gets the nod over Big Fat Dennis, but he does. And really, it should be Omar up there. And I think it's more reflective of the fact that we don't really have an outstanding right winger. And Nguema would probably be the one who would slot in there eventually. This was, we've already seen that was our season. And if you're more on here, we need to look at what are the board looking for from us this season. Top half in Ligue 1, second knockout round of the Europa League. We can manage that. They still want us to work within budgets, sign players, sell for a profit, all that kind of stuff. We're still a selling club. They still want to keep us financially afloat. And I think that probably, I mean, we've said it before, it is sensible, certainly until we move into the new ground, or we've got regular Champions League football. I've been a bit too ambitious there. But we can't really just throw money around constantly at the moment. We do need to sell players to keep ourselves afloat. We're going to go to the USA this summer and have some fun there. I'm just going to check. We are getting a new ground, aren't we? I keep talking about it. Yes. We move into the new ground in 2 years, a 25,000 capacity Tor FC stadium, which will be exciting. What we haven't been given is transfer budgets. I'm assuming it'll be that £6 million. I can't imagine we're going to get more than that when we're £2 million overdrawn, but let's hit continue. And in fact, it's less than 6 million. Well, that's not how next year's minimum guaranteed. 2 keywords there, minimum and guaranteed. And we've got less than it. Perhaps I've been living in France a long time now. Perhaps my grasp of English is not what it was, but my understanding of the phrase minimum guaranteed is that is the smallest amount it is possible for you to get. And we've got, it's only slightly less, but still, I'm just checking. Have we got someone? Alonso's coming in pre-arranged, but that came out of our budget a year and a half ago. I wish I could cancel it. We could definitely work with that. Like I said, we don't need a lot. We are moving in the right direction. The priority for me really is to try and sign some of these loanees permanently. I'd love to bring Milinkovic in permanently, but we need £10 million to do that. I'd love to bring Magothu in permanently, but we now no longer have an optional future fee because we extended his loan for another year because we couldn't pay the 10 million that it needed to make him permanent. But I think he's already a very good goalkeeper in this league, still has 5-star potential. He's going to be absolutely outstanding. And that is very interesting. That is very interesting indeed. I am not against blowing this entire budget on Magothu. Right, we're gonna make an offer, I think. I'm going to ask my director of football to make an offer because I'm still trying to avoid abusing the transfer debt. We're still on a positive transfer debt. And for me to do it's All I want to do with that transfer is say, here, have £1 million now and the rest of it on the never, never, and start building up a transfer debt. I'm trying not to do that on this save, trying to be more realistic. And I actually think it's realistic for me to say to the director of football, can I have him, please? And then the director of football can negotiate a deal. So that's what we're going to do for Magothu. The other one that I would quite like is Del Palacio Langer, who also doesn't have a guaranteed future fee. He'd cost between 24 and 37 million. Yeah, we can't get him. If we can get Magothu to start us off for this summer, have him in permanently, that then opens up another loan spot. Alonso's coming in permanently as well. Gonzalez is not coming back. So that would mean that, in fact, we can take Gonzalez out of this because he is no longer in the equation. Alonso will be permanent. Magothu will hopefully be permanent. So the only loans will be Nguema and Milinkovic and Del Palacio Langer. What about bringing him back permanently? I mean, I'm intrigued now. 11.5 to 13.75. I mean, Nguema is out of contract next summer. So from January, we can offer him a pre-contract. Whether we'll get him or not, who knows? But Newcastle spent £10 million on him as a teenager and have spent the next, well, this will be 5 years loaning him back out to us. I feel like if they were ever going to use him, they'd have used him by now. It's just whether or not they decide to offer him a contract to be able to command a fee, or whether they just let him re-sign for us because he never really left, looking at all that. But that's an interesting one because that would still leave us with 2 loan spots in the squad. We don't need any attacking players, really. I don't think I'd ever use Christopher Robin as a striker, but front 3 options, we have got plenty there. In midfield, obviously, we've got Fowry, Milinkovic, Thomas, Del Palacio, Langer, Vequero. I think we've got plenty there. Centre-back, say, we've got the new youngster who, let's not forget him, Zetkovic, or whatever his name is. Where is he? He's out on loan, I think, at the moment. But did I already bring him into the first team squad so I didn't forget him? That would have been a sensible thing to do. So he would have gone out on loan this season. Can't remember his name. This is a problem. Is this season? Svetkov. It's definitely CV something, I think. Did I dream him? There he is, Nikola Svetkovic. Let's get him into the first team squad so I don't forget that he exists. Does that now show him on here? Yes, it does. So if we've not got Gonzalez in there, not that we'd ever play Gonzalez at centre-back anyway, but with these centre-backs, Say, Matsima, Carr, Bertrand, Alonso and Svetkovic, I think we need to get rid of Matsima and maybe start earmarking Say for left-back. We could probably do with a right-back. Looking at the squad depth, we could probably do with a right-back. So I don't really want to play Milinkovic or Bertrand at right-back. So we've only really got Frey out there. Svetkovic can play in the defensive midfield as well. Again, we're probably not going to do that with him. It's nice to know he's an option, though. Can he play central midfield as well? The boy can play everywhere. We're not going to play him anywhere other than centre-back, I don't think. But it does make it easier for him to get game time if we can just bring him on and stick him anywhere. Yeah, I'm thinking Magothu permanent. If we can pull that off, that's huge. And then a right-back to ultimately take over from Frey, who is now 30 years old. And we don't really have a proper backup to at all with Gonzalez going. I think that's probably the priority. And then, like I say, just try and keep hold of players. That's going to be where things start to take a turn when we have to start selling players. Like if we get 77 million for Omar, I'm going to do a few more transfers. That's for sure. But there's other players who we might end up having to sell because they decide they want to leave. And the other thing is the board have downgraded, or not the board, the footballing world in general has downgraded our training facilities. I don't think we're going to get these upgraded again because we've not got the bank balance to be able to do it. But the facilities are still fine. We've got state-of-the-art training facilities, good youth facilities. We could do with pushing up the youth facilities again just to keep the conveyor belt rolling, but That's the plan as it currently stands. Let's see if we get Magothu, because that then changes a lot. I don't know if they're going to make the offer while he's still here on loan. That's the other thing. I don't know how these director of football offers work. There you go. So they've offered 5.25 million. Is that a flat 5.25 million that's been offered? Yeah. I mean, it's not what I'd have done, but you know what? It's worth it, I think. Our chairman's looking to step aside. Well, that could throw a spanner in the works as well. Get the business done early in case we go under transfer embargo. On the flip side, tycoon anyone? Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, this isn't ideal. I guess this is the downside of having my director of football do the negotiations. I mean, he's not going to be the backup. He's going to be our first choice goalkeeper, as he has been for the last season. Take out the yearly wage rise. I mean, how hard was that to arrange? Come on, director of football. Sort your life out. Well, this is interesting. And part good, part... I'm not sure if this is good or not. Magothu doesn't join permanently until the end of next season, because obviously we'd already extended his loan. It seems such a weird way to do it. It does mean that for the next year, we don't have to pay anything towards him, which is good. It also means that obviously he counts as a loan player for the coming season, which is not ideal. Does he come out of next season's transfer budget? See, that's unfair. He should absolutely come out of next season's transfer budget because we're not paying for him until next summer. But no, Magothu is going to be a permanent tour player. That is, hopefully, and I love it when we reach this point of the save. It's when we know we're getting to the business end of a save. I think that is our forever goalkeeper. He's only 21. He's a South African international. He's 5-star potential. I think that's our Champions League winning goalkeeper right there. I hope. And as if on cue, he's just won the Ligue Most Promising Player Award, which, bearing in mind he's in a team, not just a league, a team that includes the likes of Omar and Fowry and these real top-level prospects, for Magothu to win Most Promising Player, I think that justifies that we've just done the right thing, spending £5 million on him. Omar has won League, has got runner-up in Ligue 1, Best African Player. Haaland, of course, winning top goal scorer, with Omar runner-up for that. Donnarumma was Goalkeeper of the Year. I'm not Manager of the Year, which is hideous, although I am on the short list for it, which means we have to tactically vote for the weakest options. Put Pochettino in last place, because that'll stop him getting it. You must vote for a person. What? I thought I did. Hold on. I'm voting for him there. Him there. There we go. Easy. Gabriel Clever. Oh, he's our youth team goalkeeper. So he's won Goalkeeper of the Year in the National League, which, I mean, that's a good thing. He did it not playing for us, but still, that's a good thing. And then some media stuff as well. We've got £1.5 million to spend now. I guess we're just waiting for a French teenage wonder kid right back to appear, which, I mean, that seems likely that it's just going to show up before the end of summer. This is not ideal for us going forward. Paris Saint Germain, can't trust them to do anything. To be fair, it's probably not their fault. It's the likes of us qualifying for the Champions League in recent years and Monaco being rubbish. But what was our 4 guaranteed Champions League group spots has now gone down to 2 guaranteed Champions League group spots and 3rd place going to the qualifiers for the Champions League. It just got much harder to qualify for the Champions League. It's not ideal. Takeover talks continue, but I do take exception to this media report from Aziz Weiss. Actually, it's not him. He's reporting on what's been put in football.fr. The new potential chairman would face the daunting task of trying to clear the club's debts. While our overall balance is positive, we do have a bank loan of $875,000 from like 10 years ago nearly, but there's only $165,000 remaining on that. I could pay that back with my career earnings and not even notice it. In-game career earnings. I don't want this reputation that I have on Twitter to continue. But the only significant club debt we've got is the £43.5 million loan we took out to build our new stadium, of which there's £39 million remaining. So it's just the new ground. It's the loan for the new ground. It was almost entirely covered by sponsorships anyway. I take exception to that. I've been very financially prudent in this save. Well, we've made it through to the 1st of July. Not much has happened. We've obviously had our loans end. I don't know why my transfer budget is gone. And what? Where's my transfer budget? I mean, the Alonso deal has gone through. But based on what we've already learnt this summer with Magothu, whose money... That was a pre-arranged transfer that came out of this year's budget. Surely the Alfonso deal came out of last year's budget, unless they come out of the budget twice when you do it this way, which is hideous. Because now all of a sudden we have zero budget and we're way over our wage budget. Which wasn't what I was going to be telling you about. We have been turning down a few offers for players as well. There's been interest in Di Girolamo for around the £5-6 million mark. I think it would be mad to let him go. He's got a year left on his contract. We've actually offered him an extension because I just think he's a very useful squad player to have around that we're not going to be able to replace particularly easily. We've also had offers for Millet and Omar, around the 20-25 million for Millet, 30-35 million for Omar. Not interested in selling either of them if we can keep hold of them. The only other thing we've done is brought some young players up into the first team squad to basically cover for loanees who've left. So Claverie is back in the first team squad as our third choice goalkeeper again. We also have Nikola Svetkovic in the first team squad with a new extended contract after his loan down in Ligue 2 last season. And also on loan in Ligue 2 last season was Travis Manktolo, who is now 18 years old, and look at his value. And we're taking him off that loan list because I think we're going to use him this year. I think he is properly part of this first team squad now, 2.5 stars of current ability. I think we need to now use him after a couple of years of having him loaned out into Ligue 2. That's potentially the one reason why I would be considering letting the likes of Di Girolamo go. But actually, we've got Merlin on the transfer list. So if we take Merlin out of all of these position lists, let's get Merlin gone from all of these. So Merlin comes off all of those. I don't know that we've got room to let Di Girolamo go. He's our third choice striker. Benavides really is more used out on this left-hand side, but then that's where Manktolo plays. What we need 6 attackers, really. So if we've got Millet, Benavides, Omar, Di Girolamo, and Nguema, and Manktolo is the 7th. We could let one go. Do we let Di Girolamo go? I've just offered him a new contract. In light of the money situation, maybe we do let him go. But then we only have the 3 strikers in Omar, Millet, and Benavides. On the right-hand side, we've then got Nguema. And no, see, we don't have the thing I like about Di Girolamo is he can play that same role as Nguema on the right. No, we need to keep him. Central midfield, Vaquero is out of contract at the end of the season. I've offered him a new contract as well because he's one of my boys and he's homegrown at club, and it just makes sense to have him around as a squad player. He's probably never going to be a regular starter again, but remember, the 2 of the players who are ahead of him are only here on loan and might not be here next year, and we might then find ourselves really wishing we still had Vaquero if we let him leave. So Vaquero sticks around. The big disappointment that I've got is we've not had any offers for Matt Seamer yet this summer. We turned down £12 million for Matt Seamer last summer, and we're not getting a sniff of an offer this year when we would take half of that. I think it's probably time to transfer list him and offer him out because it is the position where we are a bit overloaded with Alfonso now signing permanently, which I wish he hadn't have done. I'm tempted to put him straight on the transfer list. But with Svetkovic now making it into the squad, we've got 6 centre-backs. We have turned down a £5 million offer for Carr this summer because I think he's one that we need to keep around. If you say that Say is a backup left-back for us, he's still going to start centre-back, though, when Simon is playing left-back. And we still need a right-back. Right. I think we have to offer Matt Seamer out. We'll offer him out with... no, we're just going to transfer list him and offer him out. And I think we're going to do the same thing with Alfonso, who at 25... I don't know if he'll leave because he's only just come in, but he's not good enough. So Alfonso can get offered out as well. And then in midfield, we've got Fowry, Milinkovic, Thomas, Langer, Vaquero, Christopher Robin. I mean, yeah, we need all 6 of them, really. Do I sell Di Girolamo? Well, it has all kicked off. It's only the 4th of July. It's only a couple of days later. But Matsima has left. He's gone to Verona for £5.25 million, which does sort us out a little bit financially. It gives us back the transfer budget that was stolen from me. We are still over our committed spending because of the Magothu deal. It will just be like that all year, and hopefully that's not going to cause a problem. But I did decide I was going to let Di Girolamo go. You can see I've got a load of trialists in. We're not going to sign any of them. They're all rubbish. But we got an offer of £8.25 million from Marseille. I decided it was too good to turn down. He's in the way of Manctolo, so I accepted that offer. I then offered him out for 10 million to try and get a bidding war going, which is in progress. But then Brentford came in with an offer of £35 million for Mille, which gave me the whole, well, I'll be upset if you don't let me go thing. I had the conversation with him, basically got to the point where he insisted he was leaving. So we agreed a price at £43 million. Brentford agreed to match it. I decided to be cheeky, added a sell on and a loan back for a year with us paying none of his salary. Brentford agreed to that as well. So we've accepted a £43 million offer for Mille that would involve him coming back on loan again for another year. And I'm now thinking if Mille's leaving, albeit in a year's time, we probably need to keep Di Girolamo around as another option. We'd be starting Benavides on the left next season with Manctolo as his backup, which means neither of them are really free to be Nguema's backup on this side, so we'd need to keep Di Girolamo. It also means up front, obviously, Mille is first reserve for Omar. You now have Di Girolamo in that role. Benavides is going to be starting on the left. We're probably a striker short, even without Di Girolamo leaving. So, like I say, it's all kicked off. We've now got deals depending on other deals. And, yeah, confusion. Well, here we go then, boys and girls. Ibrahim Mille has been granted a work permit to sign for Brentford for £43 million with a sell-on percentage, and he's coming straight back to us on loan. It means we get £18.75 million added into our wage budget, which means we could sign Milinkovic permanently and still have £8 million to spend. And we get to keep Mille for another year. And by the time he goes in a year's time, that's then an opening for Manctolo to come straight into the team on the left-hand side, if he's good enough. I didn't expect to be selling Mille this summer. If you're wondering what Brentford are up to, by the way, of course, it's yet another tycoon takeover. I seem to be absolutely surrounded by tycoon takeovers this year. And this is very much another of them. They got taken over by a tycoon last summer. They've increased their stadium capacity. They were in the Championship when they were taken over by the tycoon. So they're now fresh back in the Premier League and throwing their weight around, it seems. Imagine being a Brentford fan, though, spending all that money, club record transfer, presumably, but you're loaning him straight back out again to the club that he signed from. That new board are insane, but it's such a good deal for us because we get to keep one of our best players for another year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loans. We're still good, but look at the finances now. Oh, I'm going to ruin the club. Don't give me that kind of money. This is the end. I need to go and calm down, have my lunch, and then I'll be back to spend nearly £20 million. Right, first 2 in the door are easy. Juan Manuel Gonzalez has come back in on loan again for another year. He's at our parent club. He didn't want to rejoin us when we tried to extend his loan, but we've got him for him again because he was there on the loan list. And he's just a nice little backup for central midfield and right back. We don't necessarily plan to play him, but he's a useful chap to have around the place as a backup. Makes me a lot less worried about that right back position. And then the other one that's confirmed is Milinkovic is going to be joining us permanently. Another one that will go through next summer. This is a £10 million deal, so I really hope we don't get billed for this twice as far as our budgets are concerned. The money hasn't left the bank yet. It has left the transfer budget. So what should happen next summer is the transfer budget is untouched and 10 million comes off the balance. Or 15 million, because we've got Magothu coming in at the same time. So we might have nothing to spend next summer because the game's broken. If it's broken the way I think it's broken. But I guess we're going to find out. But Milinkovic is going to be joining us permanently next summer for £10 million. And then that leaves us with a couple of other players we're trying to bring in via my director of football, the same system that you've just seen me used a moment before. I'm trying to bring in this guy, Moises Capital, is a 26-year-old Portuguese centre-back, but he does play for a French club. I haven't checked. He hasn't got French as a second nationality yet, but he does play for Brest. So that means he is acceptable. He is 6'7". He will be our new Big Willie, Big Moses, if we can get him in for 6 million-ish. So we're trying to get him in. If he comes in, we need to still get rid of centre-backs because we've already got 5 and we only really need 4. This would make it 6 again after we've just sold Matt Seamer. But we have had offers for both Bertrand and Carr this summer from Brentford and Bournemouth, who just seem to be throwing money around in the Premier League. So we'd potentially sell both of those and go with the 4 that we then have. So we're trying to bring him in. And then Paul Benoit is a 22-year-old French under-21 international at Nantes, will be a perfect replacement for Millet. Obviously, Millet doesn't leave for a year, and we've got Manktolo. So this one is less important. I've really come in for him because it seems silly not to. Dortmund are in for him amongst other clubs. He is a top young French player, proven track record in this league. I've seen time and time again how difficult it is to bring in French players when there's a good young French player who hasn't had his big move yet. Even if it's a position we don't necessarily need, it feels like a player I should be going in for. So we're in for him. Probably won't get him because he's going to cost the top end of that transfer budget. And we can't get him and the centre-back and Milinkovic unless we sell defenders sharpish. And we did just turn down, I don't know if it would still be on here. Yeah, the most recent offer for Carr was 2 million. The most recent offer for Bertrand's not on here. We've just turned down £13 million from Bournemouth for Thomas. We have no one to replace Thomas there, really, unless Milinkovic takes that role long term. So Thomas has to stick around for now. I do worry that might be a similar situation to Matt Seamer. And this time next year, Milinkovic is our holding midfielder. And we're trying to get rid of Thomas and don't get anywhere near that kind of money for him. I've not quite mastered this selling players at the top of their value range yet. Although I think we got pretty close with Millet, who has been a problem for us since we've had him, really. He's never really lived up to the potential we thought he would. So I'm delighted with the Millet deal. I'm wondering if I should have accepted Thomas and just gone with Milinkovic this year, especially now we know he's going to be here permanently, so we can plan around using him long term. If we grab him, where is he? Milinkovic. He's accomplished playing at the base of the midfield. He can do the role that Thomas plays as a deep lying playmaker. There's no obvious weakness for him playing as that deep lying playmaker. If we compare him to Thomas, I mean, Milinkovic is just better than him in every way. Vision, Thomas has got him slightly, and Thomas is slightly better attacking because he can, bear in mind, he can play as a striker as well. Not that we've ever used him there. But at the key bits for a holding midfielder, he's better defensively, better mentally, better physically, better speed, technically. Yeah, there's a very strong argument for going with Milinkovic immediately. Am I talking myself into this? I've already turned down the offer. Yeah, I am very much hoping for a big offer for one of these centre-backs now, whoever it might be, so that we can bring in the new one and potentially bring in Benoit. And then if we have a look through our shortlist of French players who are available, Benoit's right there. We've already got Magothu coming in. We've already, can't see where that defender's gone. He was on here somewhere. And then there's another player that I've got. How do I see the players I've told my director of football to keep an eye on. Transfer targets. Transfer targets. Oh my word. We've had a lot of transfer targets over the years. This is the other guy who we're keeping an eye on if we don't get Benoit. Because again, he'll come in and be able to offer a replacement for Millet, mainly a striker. So we'll offer a competition for Omar, a nice, quick, big striker, very similar mould to Millet. 5 years older than Millet, which isn't ideal, but has got that track record of playing in Ligue for the last couple of years and scoring goals here. So, but again, I suspect he'll be quite expensive, although Atletico Madrid are interested in him. So if Atletico Madrid are interested, he's probably half decent, but he's really, if we don't get Benoit, he's the next option for that position. It looks like my director of football has not been able to agree terms with Benoit, so maybe this guy's off the table anyway. Okay. Let's shuffle budgets around a little bit. We might not be able to get either of these boys because of our pesky wage budgets. I mean, that's a lot of money. Right. Now I guess we wait and see. I'm happy with either of them coming in. I'm not sure we can afford either of them. But I guess the committed spending covers them both. So, and also covers Milinkovic, who doesn't join us until next season. So we should ignore committed spending, which I don't know that the game is going to be capable of doing, and focus on what we're currently spending, because about £80,000 a week of committed spending is from Agothu and Milinkovic, who don't sign for us until next season. So we don't need to worry about that for a year. Again, I don't think the game's smart enough to allow that to be taken into account. So we might be a little bit hamstrung with spending this money by the way the deals are structured, which is not ideal. Right, Capital is in from Brest. £6.5 million, a proper 3.5-star current ability defender. We finally have our Big Willie replacement. He's 6'7". You can't teach that. 19 jumping reach. Yes, he's only got 10 for heading. Genuinely doesn't matter. When you've got 19 jumping reach, we'll just stand him on that near post at corners. He'll get into double figures for goals this season, even though he can't head. He just needs to stand there and let the ball hit him. I am very happy with that as a signing, but we now have far too many centre-backs at the club. We already had too many. We're supposed to be clearing space for Zvetkovic to break into this team. Alfonso, we've just got to get rid of, but no one wants him. And then I guess we keep Say because he covers at left back as well. So we go Capital, Say, Zvetkovic, plus one more. We know Alfonso is out of my plans. I'm going to try and loan him out somewhere. So we need to sell one of Carr or Bertrand. Bertrand has the benefit of being able to cover right back and left back as well, but Carr can play central midfield and is tall. Carr is another 6'6" player. Lots of clubs interested in both of them as well. So it should be relatively straightforward to shift either of them. Or actually, there's no longer anyone interested in Bertrand. He's 3-star current ability, 3-star potential ability. Carr's 3. Yeah, okay. We're going to offer Carr out for the top of his range, 4.3 million. See if we can get that for him with no wage contributions. And see what happens. We are currently spent up as it is. Again, because of that committed future spending, we're not getting Benoit. We're not going to get close to getting Benoit. I'm pretty happy with the squad as it is. With Millet still here for another year, I don't think we need to panic in the attacking areas. Gonzalez is another good option to bring in for central midfield. I don't know why he's not showing on here. Surely he's a minimum of 2 stars. Drop it down to 1 star. Why is Gonzalez not on here? He's definitely at the club. Don't understand. Unless did I already remove him before when he was going to be leaving? I think I might have done that. Yeah. So let's re-add Gonzalez there. Re-add Gonzalez here as well. We've still got Merlin that we're trying to get rid of. So Gonzalez offers the cover in there. If we can get Carr out the door, that gets a bit more cash in. I'd like another option to play in there. Bertrand can do it. Carr can do it, but Carr won't be here. You'd think Gonzalez should be able to play that role, but he's awkward at it, apparently. But midfield and attack-wise, I think we're good. Del Palacio Langer is off at the Olympics with Mexico, so he's having a lovely old time. And Capital can apparently play midfield as well. He's an accomplished midfielder. But he's not going to play in midfield. Let's take him off there. He's here to play centre-back. Although the fact we've now got so many midfielders, centre-backs who can play midfield, does mean that if they do end up all staying, it's probably not a disaster. Because Capital and Carr can both play central midfield. Carr can play holding midfield, as can Bertrand. Say can play... In fact, Say and Bertrand can both play left-back and right-back as well. It's just Alfonso we need to get rid of. If anyone would like to loan him, please. Just to get him out of the way. He's on a lot of money for a loan. I think that's probably the problem. I don't think anyone's going to buy him because he just signed for us. But, I mean, we agreed to pay $1.5 million for him based on that season where he started 23 games for us. That's the year we qualified for the Champions League. So, he's not that bad. At 25, we've just got better now. But there are plenty of clubs in this league and other leagues who don't have better than Alfonso. I'm a little bit confused why no one wants him. We shall wait and see. Is that an offer for him? No, it's an offer for Carr. 2.6 from Norwich. You need to do better than that, Norwich. Let's say 4. Okay, 4 works. We're going to stick him on the transfer list to encourage him to leave. So transfer list, and then offer him out again. I mean, we'll offer him out 4.3 again. Now he's on the transfer list. And see what kind of offers we get in for him. No bites for Alfonso once again, though. We've got too many centre-backs. Why do I keep signing them? We had money to spend and I just spent it on another giant centre-back. I've got a problem. This summer might not be over yet, by the way. Because clubs are getting closer and closer to the 77 million we've agreed to let Omar go for. Oh, God. If we lose them both in the same summer, that sets us back years. Well, it is traditional in my series that when we play in a Community Shield or its equivalent, we include it in the transfer special. So here we are. We're playing in the Trophée des Champions against Paris Saint Germain. For some reason, we're playing it in China. I don't know if that's a French league thing or this database is falling apart thing. But we're playing in China and this is our team. We've got Magothu in goal. Now, nearly a permanent tour player. Obviously, will be joining us permanently next summer. Simon, Say, New Boy, Capital, and Bertrand at the back. Frey isn't fully fit. He had a bit of a knock pre-season and isn't fit to play today. So it was a coin flip between Bertrand at right back or Milinkovic. And with Fowry injured and Del Palacio Langer, he's just come back from the Olympics where he picked up an injury. So neither of them are fully fit either. So Milinkovic was needed in midfield. So Bertrand is going to start at right back, which is a very strong argument for keeping him around the place. Gonzalez, of course, would have been the other option there, but we've barely ever started Gonzalez in a game. Bertrand has earned his right to play in this game with his performance last year, and one of Say or Bertrand had to move out of centre-back to make room for Capital. Thomas at the base of the midfield, Vaquero and Milinkovic then together in midfield. We're going with Benavides on the left. Benavides, I think we have to kind of work on the basis that Benavides is our first choice left winger now, and Millet will come off the bench for him and Omar and Nguema when needed. But Millet's not going to be here next year, so we don't have to continue trying to develop him. So we need to try and do well without him and use him when he's needed, rather than have Benavides sat behind him waiting for an opportunity. That's my thinking. Hopefully it's not twisted thinking. So Benavides on the left and Nguema on the right, who's the perfect example of me developing a lone player for 5 years. Shh. I never said I was consistent with this stuff. And then Afkir Omar, of course, up front, we've just turned down a £55 million offer from Leipzig for Omar as clubs get dangerously close to the £77 million asking price that we've agreed to let him go for. He wants to leave. We've agreed 77 million, thinking no one would ever come near it. There's still a month of this summer to go, and I am a little bit alarmed. Capital has pulled his groin. Carr comes on for him immediately. I mean, it's not ideal. How many times have I said that sentence this summer? Every time something good happens, the rug is pulled out from under me. There's no point in our new most expensive defender in history. There's no point playing him on in a game that doesn't matter with a pulled groin. So Carr can come on. I imagine Carr will get injured now. He's on his way to Norwich, I think. He's almost certainly about to pick up an injury that throws a spanner in the works of that move. And I really am trying to create space in the squad for Zetkovic. It might not look like it. I did sell Matt Seamer, who'd been a stalwart for years. Yes, I've signed a new centre-back for a lot of money. But my plan is to sell a couple more, yeah. I want Alfonso and Carr out of here. So we do just have the 4 centre-backs, one of which is Zetkovic. That is the plan. We'll see how it works out. We're already losing against Paris Saint Germain. We expect to lose today. Like I say, no idea why we've had to come all the way to China to take our Paris Saint Germain flavoured medicine. But it seems they're the only team we play at the moment. Oh, goodness me. We're not looking like breaking through either, are we? Carr, look at that beautiful work from him. Let's keep him at the club forever. What a defender. Have I got Zetkovic on the bench? No, of course I haven't. Get used to that. Oh, the comment section are loving this. Oh, and they're in behind again. Ansu Fati against Magothu. And it looked like they were... In fact, it's not them squaring up. It's... Who is that? Who's number 5? Bertrand looked like he was squaring up against Magothu. I think it's just the way the animation stopped as the goal went in, but it looked like the two of them were nose to nose as this ball goes in. Just watch Bertrand charge in. I don't know where he's... Is that Bertrand? That is Bertrand. Magothu's got his head on his hands. His head on his hands? His head in his hands. And Bertrand's just staring him down. Bertrand needs to acknowledge that he's just a reserve for us these days. Or is he? Who knows? He's about to move into the centre-back position because we've now picked up a knock to Kevin Simon. So we're going to move Say out to left-back. Bertrand's going to go in there, and we're going to bring on Gonzalez at right-back as injury issues in our defence continue. It's like the game is conspiring to try and make me keep all these defenders at the club. All these defenders that we don't need. The game is trying to stop me develop Zetkovic now. Right, Omar, first real look in that Omar's had in this entire match. Plays it out wide to Nguema, who plays a beautiful pass back into Omar, who has a big chance and just bottled it. It's gone high and wide, and I've just noticed that PSG don't have Donnarumma in goal. Is it beginning? Are the players starting to get to the age where they're not going to be used anymore? Because that is interesting if we're reaching that point. Because that will forever be known as our season of opportunity when that happens. Obviously, they've still got Haaland up front. We've seen Fati, we've seen Adeyemi. So this isn't the season of opportunity, which is a shame because it's the last one with Millet at the club. We just have to hope Benavides pushes on this year. But Omar has just grabbed a goal back for us. We are right back in this. Donnarumma presumably must be injured because I don't think, as a goalkeeper, you'd expect him to last longer than all of them. He's not much older than any of them. And you would expect him to be playing on beyond. In fact, Donnarumma is on the bench. Is this just because it's the Community Shield and nobody cares? Or do they genuinely think they've replaced Donnarumma with this guy I've never heard of? Because that's worrying. If they're starting to replace the players before they outlive their sell-by date, then the season of opportunity may never become a thing. Right, Say, trying to get in on this left-hand side. I say trying to get in. We tried to play him in. He was not up for it at all. But Thomas is and wins the ball back. And now Say just gives it to Thomas again. Say does not want to play left-back. That's very clear today. He is quite eager to get back into centre-back where he spent all of last season, even though we signed him with a view to him covering both positions. What a final contribution from Carr. Jimmy Carr, what are you? Gives the ball away to Haaland, not content with giving the ball away, just kicks him. Just blatantly kicks him and gets himself sent off. What an absolute tool bag. Well, so Xavier Alfonso's going to be coming on here. No one expected that in today's video. An appearance from Alfonso, but we don't have any other defenders. I guess Gonzalez could go to centre-back. Milinkovic could drop back to right-back, but that just seems silly, especially because Milinkovic is tired anyway. So Milinkovic is going to come off for Alfonso. We're going to take off Thomas and bring on Christopher Robin, and we're going to go to a 2 in midfield. And then we're going to take off Nguema. And we're sending a message to Millet here because we're leaving him on the bench. And we're going to do that. Are we still able to make another change? No. Millet can sit this one out and think about what he's done. He had the opportunity to stay with us forever and chose to go to Brentford. Championship. But Brentford haven't played a game in the Premier League in years. And he's decided to go to there for the money rather than stay here for the glory. He could have had the money here as well. He wants to talk to Milinkovic about how much he's earning on his new contract. I bet it's more than Millet's going to be earning at Brentford. Can we have a little look? So, Millet, Brentford contract, what should it be, like a gazillion pounds? So, Millet at Brentford is earning sugar plums. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, then. I'm no longer in a mood with him. Take the money, son. Goodness me. Haaland makes it 3. We are, I mean, we're all over the place. We've got Christopher Robin and Vaquero as our midfield too. And look at the state of the back four. So the fact that it's still remotely close is it's quite impressive. This has not been a proud moment for us in this football match. Alfonso and Say, between the two of them, end up hacking it clear. And I mean, we're still in it. We've only had the one shot on target. We did score from it. So Omar's got a good goal return per shot, or I guess per shot on target. He did have that one that he blazed over when it was easier to score. Oh, God. We are just, I hate this game because it's not enough. Why is the match engine not capable of us just being outplayed? Why do we have to also give away the penalty, get the red card? That happens every time you play a team better than you. Just have the match engine show that Paris Saint Germain are better than us. You don't have to do it with red cards and penalties every time. Right, Christopher Robin is breaking. This match doesn't matter. It's just frustrating watching it play out the way you know it's going to play out. Gonzalez trying to get the cross in. It goes out for a corner, and we do have an opportunity here. This would have been a nice opportunity for Big Moses to show us what he can do at the near post. Of course, he lasted 3 minutes in this match, so we don't get to see it today, boys and girls. But, you know, tomorrow's episode, it'll all be fun. At least we don't have to qualify for Europe this year. We're already straight into the group stages. So there's no repeat of last season's embarrassment. We just don't start seasons well. And it's not even because we've done loads of transfers. This is a team full of players who were here last year. There is nobody on this pitch who wasn't in this squad last season. So there's no excuses. You can't blame this on dynamics. Yes, the likes of Alfonso, Christopher Robin, Vaquero, these aren't regular starters. Gonzalez. But, I don't know. I guess we're only losing 3-1, and it's only got that big of a scoreline since we went down to 10 men. There are positives to take. It's taken a red card and a penalty for them to humiliate us, but in the end, they are just humiliating us. It's 4-1 now to Paris Saint Germain, as they really underline the message that they're sending, that they are still comfortably clear as the best team in France, and goody for us. So happy for them. Oh, I'm not watching the trophy celebration. Back on the plane, lads. Not you, Jimmy Carr. You can stay here. Make your way to Norwich from here, you absolute plum. Oh, we're going to look at it anyway. Oh, some positive transfer news. James Carr has gone to Sheffield United rather than Norwich for £4 million. So that's one of the defenders out the way. Quentin Merlin has gone out on loan to Vavka. We're not paying. They're not paying any of his wages. It just gets him out of the way. He was cluttering up the first team squad, and we have quite a good relationship with this lot. So he can. I think that's where Manktolo was last year. So we've just given them a different left wing and we've swapped them over. They've taken the old one who's out of contract at the end of the season. We've got the young, up and coming, promising one back. Even more exciting than all of that, though, Xavier Alfonso is off back to Uruguay. He doesn't sign for Penarol until the 1st of January, so we've got to keep him around until then. But a £1.6 million deal does mean we make a slight profit on him if you ignore what we originally spent to loan him and all the salary we're paying him. But that's him gone. I actually think that might be the ideal way to go about things, because going back to my good old squad depth screen, we've got the 5 centre-backs until January. And then in January, Alfonso leaves, and that's when Svetkovic steps up and becomes 4th choice at the back. And we'll probably get game time in the second half of the season, which is probably ideal. Play him in play him in Europe, play him in the Cups in the first half of the season, and then he's going to be sat there on the bench the second half of the season. And when you consider that Say is first reserve for left back, and Bertrand is in the mix to play right back. You saw him play right back in that last game. Cvetkovic will get game time as the fourth choice defender at the club. So ideal for him. We've got money to spend now, though. £2.5 million. There's not really anything that I think I can get that improves the team for £2.5 million. Obviously, we've got 3 weeks till deadline day, so we'll probably wait until then. If I have a look at my French players that I might be able to get, should we go get Camavinga? Probably not going to get Camavinga, although he's actually quite reasonably priced for a 29-year-old Camavinga. But obviously, that's more than £2.5 million. And that's the thing. All these players who are towards the top of this, we should probably filter it by the players who'd actually sign for us. But even the ones who'd actually sign for us, Roko Vukovic is available again all of a sudden. But we can't afford him. We can't afford any of them. Big Willie. Oh, Big Willie. Still at Salzburg. I thought he'd left last summer. Obviously, his move to Southampton fell through last summer and he ended up staying at Salzburg. But there are plenty of options. We just can't afford any of them. Finding anyone that we can get for £2.5 million, you have to scroll a long way. This is the first guy we can get for £2.5 million. Warren Bondo. We don't need, I mean, we just got rid of Merlin. This is just new Merlin. We don't need new Merlin. Yeah. I don't think we're going to do much more business. So, I don't know what that screen is. I don't even know what I pressed to make that screen appear. Yuck. This is the team that will start the season. Del Palacio Langer, back from international duty, will start in midfield. Fowry's still not completely recovered from his, what was it, a broken foot? Yeah, a broken foot that he got in the cup final. So he is, he's close to being ready. Big opportunity for Del Palacio Langer because that is a good midfield three. And Fowry might find it difficult to charge straight back into the team if that as a three starts well. I mean, there are routes back in for him. Milinkovic could drop back into the Thomas role and Fowry could go in there, or Fowry could come back in for Del Palacio Langer. There'll be opportunities for him. But the key thing is I am determined to push Benavides this season. If we do a comparison between him and Millet, just to have a look to see what we're getting between the two of them, you can see that Millet is bigger and more physical, which we knew, but Benavides is quicker. Millet does have the edge aerially, technically. Millet's better, but Benavides is our player. We've got to push him. We've just turned down a £7.5 million offer for him. We've got to give him game time this year. He started 12 games last year. That's quite a lot of games, actually. Maybe he's not any good. Let's see how long I can stick to my guns on this for. But that'll be tomorrow's video when we start the new season against Le Havre and Brest. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.